brought to you by WikiVidi.com. John Podesta. John David Podesta is a columnist and former chairman of the 2016 Hillary Clinton presidential campaign. He previously served as chief of staff to President Bill Clinton and counselor to President Barack Obama. He is the former president, and now chair and counselor, of the Center for American Progress, a think tank in Washington, D.C., as well as a visiting professor of law at the Georgetown University Law Center. Additionally, he was a co-chairman of the Obama-Biden Transition Project. Early life. Podesta spent most of his early years in Chicago, where he was born. Growing up in the neighborhood of Jefferson Park on the city's northwest side. His mother, Mary, was Greek-American, and his father, John David Podesta, Sr., was Italian-American. Tony Podesta, a lobbyist, is his brother. Podesta's father did not graduate from high school, but encouraged his children to attend college. In 1967, Podesta graduated from Lane Tech High School in Chicago. Podesta met Bill Clinton in 1970, when they worked in Connecticut for Joseph Duffy, a candidate for the United States Senate. In 1971, he graduated from Knox College, Galesburg, Illinois, where he had served as a volunteer for the presidential candidacy of Eugene McCarthy. He received his J.D. from Georgetown University Law Center in 1976. Podesta worked as a trial attorney for the Department of Justice's Honors Program in the Land and Natural Resources Division, and as a special assistant to the Director of Action, the federal volunteer agency. His political career began in 1972, when he worked for George McGovern's unsuccessful presidential campaign. Career. Podesta held positions on Capitol Hill, including counselor to Democratic leader Senator Thomas Daschle, chief counsel for the Senate Agriculture Committee, chief minority counsel for the United States Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Patents, Copyrights, and Trademarks, Security and Terrorism, and Regulatory Reform, and counsel on the majority staff of the Senate Judiciary Committee. In 1988, he and his brother Tony co-founded Podesta Associates, Inc., a Washington, D.C. government relations and public affairs lobbying firm. Now known as the Podesta Group, the firm has close ties to the Democratic Party and the Obama administration, and has been retained by some of the biggest corporations in the country, including Walmart, BP and Lockheed Martin. The Clinton years. Podesta served as both an assistant to the president and as deputy chief of staff. Earlier, from January 1993 to 1995, he was assistant to the president, staff secretary, and a senior policy advisor on government information, privacy, telecommunications security, and regulatory policy. Podesta was the first White House staffer to get the news of the Lewinsky scandal, and was put in charge of managing the crisis. In 1998, he became President Clinton's chief of staff in the second Clinton administration, and executed the position until the end of Clinton's time in office in January 2001. Podesta encouraged Executive Order 12,958, which led to efforts to declassify millions of pages from the U.S. diplomatic and national security history. Recent years. In 2003, Podesta founded the Center for American Progress, a liberal think tank in Washington, D.C., and served as its president and CEO until he stepped down in 2011. Podesta remained chairman of the non-executive board of directors for a time, and remains on the board today, although not as chairman. Podesta has taught at his alma mater, Georgetown University Law Center, many times over the years, teaching classes on congressional investigations, law and technology, legislation, copyright, and public interest law. On the Georgetown faculty, Podesta's title is Distinguished Visitor from Practice. From 2002-14, Podesta served as a member of the Constitution Project's Bipartisan Liberty and Security Committee. In 2008, he authored The Power of Progress: How America's Progressives Can Save Our Economy, Our Climate, and Our Country. In 2009, he accompanied former President Bill Clinton to North Korea for negotiations securing the release of 2 American journalists imprisoned on espionage charges. He can be seen in numerous widely circulated photographs of Clinton meeting with Kim Jong-il. Podesta opposes the excessive use of classification, and in a 2004 speech at Princeton University condemned what he called the U.S.'s excessive government secrecy and bloated secrecy bureaucracy. Podesta has called Executive Order 12,958, which set tough standards for classifying documents and led to the unprecedented effort to declassify millions of pages from our nation's diplomatic and national security history, as perhaps the biggest accomplishment of the Clinton administration. More than 800 million pages of intelligence documents were declassified as part of the program. Podesta is described as a longtime advocate for government disclosure review for files. Podesta has supported petitions by some who believe UFOs are alien spacecraft to the government to release files related to the subject. At a 2002 news conference organized by Coalition for Freedom of Information, Podesta stated that it is time for the government to declassify records that are more than 25 years old and to provide scientists with data that will assist in determining the real nature of this phenomenon. Podesta wrote the foreword for a book by Leslie Kean titled UFOs, Generals, Pilots, and Government Officials Go on the Record. The book details numerous contact events by these trained personnel. Podesta became an honorary patron of the University Philosophical Society in March 2006. Podesta is an emeritus member of the Knox College Board of Trustees. Podesta has served on the board of directors of Bedford, Massachusetts-based energy company Joule Unlimited since January 2011. He has also served on the board of the Portland, Oregon-based Equilibrium Capital. In 2013, Podesta earned $90,000 as a consultant to the Westchester, Pennsylvania-based HJW Foundation, a non-profit group led by Swiss billionaire Hans-Jörg Wyss. He was the U.S. representative to the UN High-Level Panel on the Post-2015 Development Agenda. After the 2016 election, Podesta joined the Washington Post as a columnist. Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.